Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Charissa Sims, author, spiritual coach, and your host for today's powerful conversation. I'm so honored to be joined here with Steve Farrell, co founder and worldwide executive director of Humanities Team, the voice behind the transformative new 21-day challenge called Sacred Beginnings. I love that title. Steve is a best selling author, a leading voice in conscious living, and a global pioneer.
Down in 21 days, and it's sort of like a transmission that just kind of takes us there, right? So that we can sort of glide from that space for the balance of the day and for 21 days, and then really for the full year and for a full life. I mean, that's the Paul Revere thing. Is there's a really a hugely better way of living that's more fulfilling and flourishing and floating, and there are many descriptions we could put to this, but that leaves behind this thing that's transactional and in our head, and it's so dense and sort of that's pointed at other people outside of, oh, they're doing this and I need to go pay for their upgrade and stuff. This isn't that. Yeah, this isn't that. This is something really beautiful and that works much better, and it's going to, I think it was the invitation in life really in the first place was to live this way, right? But we didn't get that in school, through primary school and high school and college. We kind of were trained in other more getting into our head and chasing dreams that often aren't very fulfilling.
Yeah, good point. Well, can you give us an idea of the journey across the 21 days? What kinds of themes or practices are woven in?
Well, let's go ahead and go ahead and read what some of the names of these 21-day challenges are. So, Sacred Threshold is kind of the first day, and then Begin Again. We'll come back and talk about what these are, but the setting a sacred intention, being getting spirit-led, and as we were talking, Charissa was sharing. Well, that was one of my favorites. Was being spirit-led. Incidentally, all of these actually are taking us to the same place, but our starting point is just a little different. So the next one, be where your feet are. Okay, so and of course that's going to go down into presence, right? Be where your feet are. So like right now, right here, right now, Charissa and I, with you, this is where my feet are. I'm not preparing I'm not out in the future doing other stuff that's on a list. I'm just right here, right now with you. So some of these other ones. So anchored in gratitude, of course. Let love be your first principle. And isn't that beautiful? So,
Yeah.
And then awakening sacred action. So these are little micro sessions that are only a couple of minutes a day, and we made them really short like that, so that we can just kind of let go and just really go down into something really beautiful that is, again, what we believe. Humanities Team was founded 23 years ago, as a 501c3, to just invite people to another way of living that is where we live into this wholeness, this oneness, this ocean that we could call the cosmos, universe, or the divine, where we're all part of this wholeness, these same features that are part of cosmos, universe, and divine are ours. So, and these little micro sessions take us into dimensions of what that is. That it's really beautiful. And I know you share. You turned your whole life around and went in a whole different direction, right? Because it was so beautiful for you, and your kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point. And I've been through this 21-day challenge. I've seen the practices, and they can create a real energetic shift in you. It's like a transmission. It's not just relaying information. That's why I feel it's important when you're doing this challenge, invite friends, invite family, motivate each other, be accountable to each other, and join in this challenge together and give each other feedback. What did you like? Give us feedback. What do you want more of? How did you feel after that challenge? So who do you envision stepping into this challenge, Steve?
Yeah, so one, I love what you just shared, inviting your family and your friends and coworkers in. This is truly, we're not selling something here. This isn't a marketing job, which our world is full of. This is more of just an open invitation, to, again, kind of live back into maybe the whole reason we were born into this life anyway. We are the largest global streaming platform for consciousness raising masterclasses in education. So Charissa and I and all of our team get to work with these incredible faculty, these leaders like Greg Braden and Nassim Harriman and Suzanne Giesman and Karen Noe and many others. So the reason I bring that in is when you work with some of the best mediums in the whole world and some of the best near-death experience leaders in the whole world, and some of the best scientists that are involved in this entanglement, a lot of times he uses this term, in the whole world, you really get clear on kind of how life works. In life, when I talk about life, it's not just physical life, right, when we're embodied. It's also the non-physical life, the heavenly realm, right? You get real clear on how that works. And that's really what we're talking about here. That's what this sacred beginning says. Begin again, with this invitation to live in a really beautiful way, that in your home, like with your kids, right? And my young adults, they've actually moved out now, but so are Puppy. As coworkers, isn't it neat in Humanities Team, right? The way we work together like this. Yeah. So the invitation is here for everybody, and really, I think I was saying we were encouraged to be the Paul Reveres. Well, we want to encourage you to be a Paul Revere. Go through the 21-day challenge, experience these micro sessions, this awakened state, this conscious state where there's this reverence for life, this open heart and service, where, as we know, when we give, it's a boomerang effect. It comes back to you. Experience that first yourself. Take it into your whole year, and then, let's all be Paul Reveres, and invite people to a way of living that's going to be a lot more fulfilling than kind of what people are experiencing in today's world, right? As you look out the window and the challenges and things, and I'm sure we all have plenty of friends and family members that are challenged. This is good stuff.
Yes. So if you're feeling the pull already, I hope you'll sign up in the link provided wherever you're watching. And also, I think it might be fun for people to do a baseline. Like, how are you feeling before the challenge? What's your state of mind? What are you feeling in your body? What is your goal, and think about, okay, how am I feeling after the 21 days? Are you feeling more inspired, empowered to live life or to live into your higher self? That might be really fun. What do you think?
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Where you do your own baseline, and create your own. So this is bringing in maybe some journaling, where you keep a little journal that says, okay, so here's where I'm starting from, January 5th. Go through this first program, Sacred Threshold, right? This is my experience of where I am now. It tends to be more logic center of mind than sacred center of soul. It tends to be more transactional of, if you do that, I'll do this. It tends to be more dense, of kind of what the physical reality is around us. These are some of the characteristics of everyday living out in the world. With these little micro sessions, we kind of drop from here down to here. Heart starts opening more, start becoming a little more in service, start noticing more of a floating effect is what it feels like to me, instead of that dense reality that's this roller coaster up and down. But this is the whole point is, we didn't want to just kind of sit here and tell you what you will experience. Great idea. Journal it. Where did you start, and then where did you end? And did you walk through a door, of awakening, a door of where you feel, more conscious of this wholeness, this oneness, this underlying unity, and then what are you experiencing as you live that way?
Yeah, so what if someone is not really spiritual or has never meditated or even is not aware that they do have a higher self or that there is a spirit? Who do you feel like this is for?
Well, and I have family members that are in this category.
Okay.
That aren't spiritual at all. In fact, they would say they're atheists. So then I would say, go to nature, go to the stars, go to the trees, go to hiking, go to being outdoors, go to taking your shoes off and walking in barefoot in nature. This is kind of one of the quickest and easiest ways. Being around pets and babies is another thing, where you just really let in kind of what their energy is, really experience them fully without being present with them. Those are a couple of ways where you'll come into the same thing, and you start becoming more intentional of, wow, why am I not out in nature more? Why am I not taking the time to look at the beautiful stars in the sky more? Wow, the experience of this. That takes us to the same place.
Beautiful.
And that same place is what we're trying to put words around here now, where we all might. Somebody was telling me yesterday, Steve, it sounds like enlightenment to me. In many ways it is. I don't use that term, enlightenment, because I think it pushes people away, and you tend to think, oh, that's for, the yogis and things, or a guru or something. So I tend not to use that term. But, in some ways it's like that. Also, when I was having that brunch yesterday, this person was sharing my purpose kind of floats around. I'm not real clear on it. This person was a senior, really up there in years. And it made me realize, too, I think where we're in this whole in our head transactional thing is going on. I think the purpose can be kind of not as clear to us. When purpose is going to go in different directions based on our different gifts and things. But at the center of purpose in this is love, if I want to use the word. Just how loved we are and how loving we can be, and that's kind of the center of it, really.
Yeah. What's interesting about love, I find a lot of the spiritual teachers, especially the psychic mediums, they talk about being in that state of love can get you to communicate with spirits on the other side. So it's entering that field of unconditional love, not only for humanity, but for the spirit realm as well.
Yeah. And great that you're opening up, that this is another thing, that before we come into the awakened state and this conscious state, it is really just a physical reality. It's just what's embodied and what the physical reality is. But what we become very clear on as we become awakened and conscious is there is an afterlife, a non-physical realm that's very present, including family members that have passed, angels, guides, right? And this is not make-believe stuff. This is real. This is real, you know. And boy, if there were anybody that isn't clear on how real it is, go through some of our free programs, please. You know, with James Von Prague, with Karen Noe, with Suzanne Giesman, there are a few of them. Dr. Eben Alexander, these are just a few.
Yeah, and we also have a Planetary Citizen Summit coming up just in a few weeks as
We
well.
do. Yeah,
So that's exciting.
yeah, we do. Right. And we're gonna.
So-
By the way, this is our very first broadcast from this Humanities Team studio that we've just built
Yes.
out. So isn't this cool? You know, so you'll see us in a couple of weeks right here
Yeah.
for the Planetary Citizen Summit. We've got Eva here with us for that because Chris is out of town. Yeah, this is, and Planetary Citizen Summit is going to get at a lot of this in the context of kind of how we can live this out in the world, and instead of, because a lot of people are more shrinking back now, anxious, you know, and this is saying, oh boy, don't shrink back. This is that you want to stretch out, you want to lean in, you know, and here's the voice that we can have. Here's how we can feel empowered. Here's some real practical things we can do, and then, my God, we've got just all of them in this, don't we? We've got Michael Beckwith and Greg Braden and Suzanne Giesman and Neil Donald Walsh. I won't, you know, wait till you see the whole Lynn McTaggart. Oh my God, you know, this they're all coming in to share, you know, how to live as a planetary citizen, where we are leaning in, you know, we are not shrinking back.
Yeah. But, you know, we want you all to participate in this 21-day challenge first, and then get inspired, get grounded, and then move into the summit, sign up for the summit. So the subtitle of this 21-day challenge is Awaken Your Higher Self. For anyone listening, what does that mean, Steve, to live from your higher self?
Well, you know, so it's interesting. I would call our higher self our true self, you know, is our true self. Before we awaken, before we're conscious, you know, we're just kind of lugging this body around thinking, you know, who's Steve Farrell? It's this body, you know, when this body's gone, he's gone. And, you know, then it's very much about me, right? You know, well, Steve would like to, I have a preference to do this and that and this and that. And so what your preferences might be, or in Humanities Team, what their preferences might be, or like, well, that's outside of me. That's what they want to do, not what I want to do, right? There's so many dimensions to this awakening and conscious living. One is, you know, you really are living into a wholeness, underlying unity and oneness, which you know, even scientists, again, are affirming is true, right? Even Albert Einstein spent a lot of his years, 100 years ago, talking about this, where we really experience this reverence and this connection and this shared caring and thoughtfulness, love, you know, with each other. And we go from me to we, but not because of something in our head that says I should, a philosophy that says I should care more about others. It's not like that. This is not an in the head we experience. This is an in the heart, connected.
And give.
Yeah, and even, you know, this ocean that I call it, this cosmos, this universe, this divinity, which is this one, the fullness of the one presence, is what we start tuning into as we're in nature, in that hike, where we're with a baby that's just present, or a pet, is we're actually feeling a loving nature to life. That there's actually, in many, you know, it's we all hear this that if we allow ourselves to just let to be led, to let doors open and let doors close, that we'll be drawn to a really beautiful life. That's a loving presence, isn't it? If that's the basis for life, we're guided to doors that close, guided to doors that are going to open, and there's this more and more and more that we experience as our life unfolds. Are we loved or what? I mean, what would be the basis for that? So, and then we start reciprocating. It's like, oh my God, I've been blessed in all these ways. This one session on gratitude, anchored in gratitude. I mean, you really become anchored there in gratitude, right? So then it becomes reciprocal. And that's when the whole beautiful thing happens, this reciprocal of I'm letting all of loving basis in, and now I'm just wanting to reciprocate. I'm wanting to express that in my daily living.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be on such a big scale. It can be in little things, even just offering a smile or saying hi or giving in whatever way and capacity you have. I just wanted to say, in going through the challenge, I really resonated, Steve, with day 4, Let Spirit Lead. Do you want to talk a little bit about that topic and why it resonated so deeply?
Yeah. So let Spirit lead. So this is this whole where we start experiencing these doors that are closing and doors that are opening and being led to that next relationship, that next work environment, the home that you consider yourself blessed to have on vacation, where then you experience just being renewed and relaxed in these things, where these things just keep happening. You start realizing, my God, there's 3 points to determine a line. This has been going on, for your entire life. I mean, people that know my story, grew up with a single mom who was divorced, and 7 kids in a little 1,300 square foot home, and we had a dog in there too, and 3 bathrooms. That's where I started, and then my life unfolded into all of these beautiful things. Now I get to work with people like Charissa. You can't see Jim Gray behind the camera, and Dee Meyer, and all of these incredible people that I get to work with. You realize, my God, look at what I've been given. Look at what I've been given. And then your heart opens, and then you start, this is the reciprocal love thing. So being spirit-led, if you were an atheist like my aunt, you wouldn't necessarily go to the notion of spirit-led because you maybe don't believe in spirit. You could go use the term life, being life-led, realizing that life just keeps opening these doors, keeps unfolding into better things, keeps creating flourishing, keeps leading me from here down to here. If you do have a spiritual bone in your body, it's beautiful because you realize, dare I use the word God, the divine, that everything that you could ever, that every hair on your head is seen, and every need, every action of service is felt. And then you realize how loved you are, and you love back. That reciprocal love thing really.
Maybe the life that I have, and my kids and my relationships and everything. So it really resonated as a challenge for me to rise to the occasion. So that's why I brought it up.
Wow, I'm so glad that we went in this direction, because don't you think you're speaking for so many people, this notion of wanting to control our life, and after all, is there a possibility I'm going to be led into something that isn't going to work well? I mean, we need our income and these things to support our family, right? But and of course, what this micro session goes into is that, as we were discussing actually even before this program, is it's a journey. So it's a path. That path is sometimes, we're doing some climbing. It's through some high arid kinds of regions. So there'll be days, moments where we certainly feel challenges. Those don't go away. But what we realize is this whole vision, provision thing, right, of sacred text and all of them, This is where you're given the vision, then provision comes. So you can trust it. You can let Spirit lead and trust the unfolding. This is part of what we're Paul Revere. You can trust the unfolding. We can let the control go. In this beautiful new way, which we experience every day, actually, when we're awakened or conscious. So the 21-day challenge, sign up. It's free. And then after that, if you find it as compelling and as beautiful as we're describing, boy, there's all kinds of things. One is this is a New York Times bestseller, and it's been in up to 3 categories. So it's called The Inner Way. It's free, actually, for Kindle, and it's $10.99 in hard copy. So that's something that goes a little deeper into all of this. And then there's a masterclass called Higher Self, Higher Purpose that's part of Humanity Stream Plus, which is Humanity's team's global community and streaming platform for consciousness raising. It's kind of the sacred community where we journey together to this whole new way of living in the planet, starting with ourselves and in our homes. So you can check out that masterclass. We've gotten great feedback on that masterclass. And there are hundreds of masterclasses. Last year, we had over one a week in new programs that we brought to the Humanity Stream Plus community. So Higher Self, Higher Purpose is the one it's a new one that goes deeper into all these things that we're talking about here now.
Yeah, and we have such a beautiful community where we have watch parties and we do weekly lives where as a member you get to come backstage a little bit like a VIP. So we also have HT Interactive Spotlights where you get to have live readings sometimes. It's really incredible, this community. So I just want to thank you so much, Steve, for being here with me today and for sharing with our audience about the 21-day challenge, Sacred Beginnings. And just thank you to all of Humanity's team, Jim Gray, Dee Meyer, and our entire team that makes this production possible. Any last words?
Yeah, thank you. Charissa, thank you for being our host. Jim Gray, thanks for pulling this thing together. And love and peace and blessings to all of you. We'll see you inside the 21-day challenge. And boy, stay close because we actually have a live program Wednesday, a live program Thursday this week, and then this Planetary Citizen Summit, January 23 and 24. Boy, don't miss that one. Okay, so we'll be back on the air soon, and thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you.